Hello everyone, thank you for watching this video. In this video, I am going to talk about Enterprise Cloud Expert Training. So this training is introduced to give you an extensive, cloud experience. Whether you're looking for Azure Administrator or Technical Architect or Azure DevOps roles, this training is going to help you to cover all this skill set. So whether you're a beginner or having some knowledge on the cloud environment or on-premise environment, or you are already an expert on the platform, so it doesn't matter. So this is going to be helpful to everybody who want to become an expert on the cloud platform. So in the market, you might see that companies are looking for the multi-skilled experts, like people who have some good experience in the infrastructure and technical architecture of the cloud infrastructure. Probably the person who have skills on the Azure DevOps with the infra automation, a little bit of experience into the Azure Kubernetes and Dockers or containers. So this program is going to cover everything that is required to make you an expert, or and end of the day, you should be able to handle any project that is coming in your organization, or maybe if you're looking for the job change, and you should be able to clear the interviews by your own. So how this program works is, we start by creating the user accounts and give you access to the our extensive materials, such as the previous recordings and OneNote and SOP documents. You will get access to the Teams and Microsoft Outlook. So basically, you get access to the as an organization, how you log into your organization email ID and Outlook to communicate with your team members and collaborate with the team members. So it's going to be in the same method. So you will get account created, and using that account, you will be logging into the Azure portal and start managing the resources and start interacting with your team members to help on day-to-day operations. So basically how it happens is, so we will start learning initially. I don't know, I'm going to start explaining about the identity solutions. Okay, so we'll start with the identity solutions. In the identity solutions, you will understand each and every component of identity, like Azure Active Directory, and how you secure the Azure AD environment, and how do you configure the conditional access policies, and how do you integrate enterprise applications, and how do you integrate on-premises AD with Azure AD, and what kind of issues you face, and how do you troubleshoot. So you will be given an environment, and the environment will be set up with all the best practices, and the best practice will be explained to you, and all technical components will be in detail explained to you, and later you will be given access to Azure AD as a global administrator. So you should be able to define each and every policy as an organization, how they implement. You are going to be implementing, you will get a live task, the real-time use cases task. And based on those use cases, you are going to set up the entire environment, and each and every task will be reviewed, and feedback will be given to you. And if you need help, you will have SOP documents that are already available in our environment. So that SOP document will be given to you for your reference. And so this is how you are going to be an expert on each and every technology. So we'll start with the identity solutions. Then we will start introducing you to the subscriptions of Azure subscriptions, and what is the management group, and so also Azure policies, how you create Azure policies, and issue importance of the Azure policies and governance part. So you will be able to learn all these things, and you should be able to set up an environment for any customer that um, require this solution. So you will be able to implement each and every task that is given to you, and you should be able to create a SOP document so that you will refer them as a future reference. Okay, so once the subscription management and management groups and Azure policies and RBAC roles are introduced, and best practices are explained to you. So then you will be introduce you to the Azure VM infrastructure. So you will start learning what is an Azure VM and how do you deploy and why do you deploy, what are the naming standards we have to follow. So how do you ensure that VMs are highly available, and how do you ensure that your VMs are uh, not experiencing any performance issues in case if there is an application performance issue or VM performance issues or network connectivity issues and VM is not able to connect, no boot issues. How do you troubleshoot all those problems, and how do you set up the large infrastructure? So those things will be discussed as part of this training. So along with this, we will also discuss how do you connect multiple networks, and how do you actually establish a connectivity from the on-premises using the virtual WANs and vHubs, VNet peering, and we will talk about the Azure firewall solutions, load balancers. So basically, the complete Azure infrastructure is what you are going to learn as a next step. So basically this setup will be already available. So as a organization, you will be getting a knowledge transfer. So this is how the environment is going to be set up. So we have the connectivity from the on-premises to Azure. We have the users accessing from the internet. The communication goes through the firewall to the backend servers. So likewise, you will have a detailed knowledge transfer given to you. And so post that you will be given a task to implement similar scenarios for each different customer, and you are going to spend your time and efforts to research and follow the SOP documents. And if you have any questions, we are going to have a one-to-one calls to discuss your queries, and finally you are going to implement this infrastructure in the Azure environment. So once the infrastructure setup is completed, so we have to manage them. So basically, as part of the management, you need to ensure that your VMs are having up-to-date monitoring enabled. So we will learn about how do you set up the monitoring for your virtual machines, and how do you set up the security and components like update, how do you install the updates on your virtual machines, like with the help of Azure Update Management. And so you might be working on Azure for quite some time. Maybe you might see some daily challenges, daily issues. So you will learn how to use Azure automation to automate such scenarios using PowerShell or CLI or Python. So you will learn those kind of scenarios, and you will be able to implement those scenarios as well. So the main important for any organization is a BCDR solution, so business continuity and disaster recovery solution. So what are the best practices to implement the BCDR solution, like backup and site recovery as a disaster recovery solution? So how do you configure for an enterprise environment? What are the best practices we follow? If you have multiple VMs and multiple recoveries resolved, how do you monitor the multiple backup jobs? And how do you get email alerts? And if there is a problem, how do you troubleshoot? What are the logs you have to refer? What kind of issues you get it? So this is like ensuring that your VM is ready to serve the customer's request in case if something happens. So you have the solutions ready, like backup, DR. You should be able to recover the data from there. And before customer getting into any problem, before customer raise any critical issue to you, with the help of Azure monitoring alerts, you'll be able to catch them. And with the help of update management, you're gonna ensure that your VMs are up to date with the security and compliance. So that's another thing. So with the network and firewall components, you're ensuring that security for your virtual machines are already built. So you will be able to learn each and every component in detail, and you will be able to implement it. You will be given a good support during this phase, so that you are perfect in implementing these solutions. And this is like the implementation on Azure, like you are getting a setup on the Azure directly. But there could be some scenarios where a couple of projects you might be handling, you need to migrate the large set of servers from on premises to Azure. Okay, so basically it is a server migration. So how do you migrate the multiple servers to Azure? So we use the Azure migration setup. So Azure Migrate solution to migrate the on-premises servers to Azure. We will go through different phases of migration like discovery, assessment, and migration, pre-migration activities and post-migration activities. What are the things we have to configure, and what is the landing zone? So before you migrate, you're going to do a landing zone setup, right? So what is a landing zone, and how do you ensure that the all the components or security components or Microsoft CAF models are made during this landing zone setup or landing zone review? We'll go through the detailed process of landing zone setup and the review, so that you get a good understanding about how you set up the cloud environment. If it is a new customer or existing customer, you're migrating a new environment or setting up the environment in the cloud, you will have a good understanding about it. So adding to that, you will get a day-to-day task, like so what are the day-to-day tasks you will be handling if you are Azure administrator, like resizing the virtual machines, adding a disk, updating the network security groups, and adding the servers to the patching, and configuring alerts for a specific set of servers. So there are many activities that you perform as an Azure administrator. So those kind of things also be covered during this phase or during this process. And as part of landing zone review, right? So we'll also talk about the what is the cloud adoption framework, CAF model. So what are the best practices we have to follow when you are implementing the Azure environment? So I'm 100% sure that by the time you reach to this stage, each and every aspect of this CAF model. You will know, like how do you provide the security for your cloud environment? How do you provide high availability for your cloud environment? So how do you reduce the cost for your Azure environment by using the Azure automation, or a couple of other scenarios? So you will come to know each and everything by the time you reach to the stage. So it is going to be very easy for you to do this CAF analysis, landing zone assessment for your cloud environment. So overall, this, I mean, while implementing this process, you get many tasks, and each and every task is going to be a little bit of tricky, and different use cases. But eventually you will realize that doing things manually is gonna give you a lot of trouble. Like you might be doing some human errors, maybe it might be taking so much of time to implement, right? So that is the reason you will realize that, okay, we need some solution where we need to automate these problems, build, or infrastructure setup, so that you will save a lot of time. So that's when you will try to explore the automation tools. Okay, how do I automate resources using PowerShell, or how do I automate using the CLI? Or probably you might go beyond and learn how to automate the infrastructure through ARN templates or a Terraform templates. So these kind of things you will be learning. And once you have this, the infrastructure automation using these tools, once you have the solution ready, so you will be doing the initially with the PowerShell or the deployments through PowerShell. Then later you will also move to the Azure DevOps, so that it is easy to manage the code and the repositories. So the DevOps model, you will be reaching into it, and you will learn what is Azure DevOps and what are the different components of Azure DevOps. How do you set the organization? How do you set up the project? Or how do you set up the permissions? What is the agile method and how you configure it? What are the best practices? What is the branching strategy? And how do you create a build pipeline and release pipeline? So how do you troubleshoot the deployment failures? So all these things will be learning during this phase. So this is the, I mean, in between, when we are doing this, you will have the mock interview schedules. So you will be assessed, like how much ever you've learned, whether you're grasping it in the right way or not, whether you're retaining the knowledge or not. So you will be having a couple of test cases, and the test cases will be given to you in one-to-one calls or a group call, so that you will be in a situation that you are not forgetting things. So the mock interviews and will be conducted at the end. If you think you are confident and perfect, so then you will be helped by resume preparation and interview preparation, and gonna give you some more confidence on different use cases of the Azure environment, different use cases. So all this will be given to you at the end of these sessions, and you will be getting access to all these resources for lifetime. So if you really wanted to part of the same organization, with us, so you can be with us. And if you want to join the upcoming sessions or upcoming batches, and you want to help the new people, so you can also start doing this. And the most important thing is, you will be getting an opportunity to show your skill set. If you want to train the new people, you get an opportunity to train them. And if you are from a networking expertise, and if you are from the Windows expertise, if you are from the Linux expertise, probably you are from a database or a SQL, maybe some storage related experience. If you want to train your skills to somebody else, you get an opportunity and you can share your knowledge. And it's like a team who work in our organization, how we share our knowledge, like a train the trainer concept. So we are going to follow this approach to make ourselves as an experts throughout this course of action. So so this is what we have been already started. Last month, August 3rd, we started a batch, and we got a couple of new students, couple of the old students. So we, with the collaboration of everyone, with the good understanding, we were able to complete the almost the infrastructure components, build and operations. We are at the stage we are talking about the Azure migrations. So once the migrations are completed, we will be moving to the automation of infrastructure using the ARN templates and Terraform. Then we will be talking about Azure DevOps. So I'm going to just give you some kind of view of what we have done so far, what is the consumption we have made. So you can see how much practice they are doing and how extensively they are doing it. So let me just take you to the Azure portal. All right, so you get access to your SharePoint site, and in the SharePoint site, we have a couple of documents that you can go through it. So you basically get access to the scripts that we built, and you can just take them as reference and start exploring. I don't know, come up with the new use cases. In case if you think that those use cases are new and you are not able to figure it out, so we can work together to learn and implement them. So there is another section, what you can see here, previous batch recordings. If you want to go through the previous recordings, you can go through it, and each and every recording will have a detailed information about the services. So you can go through those recordings, and you can download them if you want. And the most important thing is the document section. Here we can see the architecture diagrams, and what we are going to implement and how we are going to implement it. So everything will be available, and you will also have access to the SOP documents. So you can see a couple of SOP documents and couple of tasks that our team is implemented. So these SOP documents are couple of them are given based on the task. So those tasks are implemented already. You can see them, and couple of them which we built. This is for the identity solution. If any customer want to implement the identity solution, so we can just follow this approach. Follow this document. So this will be the blueprint, I would say. You can just follow this as a reference and start implementing for them. So you will be given a task, and you can follow this document to set up everything for the customer. And the most important thing is the naming standard. What is the naming standard we have to follow, and how to implement? So everything will be given here. So that's about the SOP documents and task information. So if I go back to this is the team. We started in the month of August, and each and every task that I have given to the team members, so they are implemented, and you can see their documents already given here. So they will be able to implement and create a document out of it. They have been like a very supportive in implementing the labs and creating these documents. So if I go to this hybrid connectivity, you can see there are a couple of them already available. So that is how they have been doing it. And each and every day, whatever we are discussing, so those recordings will be uploaded, and you will be able to see them here. You can see we went through the migration projects. It's like 2-day session. Sometimes it goes beyond. Sometimes we talk about the scenario. Maybe we because some people might have a different topic they want to explore more. So we'll jump into them and we'll try to help them as well. So we talked about the patching, automation, monitoring. So each and every session will be recorded and uploaded into your SharePoint site. Okay, so that's about the documentation part, and that I was talking about the consumption. So in the last 1 month, I would say, so in the last 1 month, this is one subscription consumption. You can see $1,073 of consumption we made. So you can imagine like how much extensive uh, labs we have done, how many resources we deployed. So, and just because of that, we have seen this much of consumption. You will be given full access to the end, all the subscriptions as a owner, and Azure AD as a global administrator. So you have a flexibility to do your labs and implement and learn by yourself, to get more experience and expertise. So this is like only for one subscription, you can see. Likewise, we had many other subscriptions, and each subscription, this is, you see, right, there are different subscriptions, PaaS 2 and PaaS 1, like 41 servers are already created. And, so this is how it's going to be. I mean, this is how we do implementation, right? Even in the enterprise environment, you may not get access to everything, but here you get access to everything. Okay, and so moreover, the most important thing is that you get an opportunity to work with Microsoft. We work with a couple of cases with Microsoft. Let me just bring this up to here. So you can see here we work with Microsoft on a couple of use cases, and we got some great support from them, right? So you get access to Microsoft support as well. You can see we are a partner with Microsoft, and you should be able to create a support ticket if needed. So it's like a Severe TA support, you can get it, and within 1 hour, Microsoft support team will try to get back to you. All right. So you can see we have the Azure Standard Support Plan. So with this support plan, you will be able to create unlimited tickets, and you will be able to get a response within 1 hour. So likewise, it's not only one or two benefits, like there are many benefits you have with this course. And the most important one, again, I would say, so this is the documentation. So we created documentation which can help everybody. You can just use this as like, one-stop solution to understand, understand about the platform. So for Azure AD, any service that we're talking, so you will have the detailed documentation available. It is not the same like what you see in the Microsoft documentation. It is based on our day-to-day what we do and what we implemented. So we just sometimes refer Microsoft documentation. Sometimes we create our own SOP documents. So we'll also given some like sample approach, like how we actually create a project, send a proposal to customers, and you will be given access to interview questions. Like, this is like for Azure AD interview question, different interview questions, and what is the answer. You will be able to see from here. And it's not limited. We just started last month, and we started creating this own documentation so that it will be helpful for the new people who are joining us. Like, each and everything you see for Azure Virtual Machine, what are the scenarios and what kind of questions you get it, right? So how to troubleshoot those kind of problems, we will be able to learn from here. And we have the ECP document as well for each and every batch. So you'll be able to see the course agenda and different tasks. So we started one task on Azure AD, task one. So you'll be given a detailed task with some kind of reference documentation, so that you can just go through them and see how we can implement it. Right? We had one more on a hybrid connection. We had one more on Azure policies, Azure AD policies. This is like not copied from anybody anywhere else. This is purely on based on our experience, and we have written this, and we have implemented as well. Whatever you see SOP documents couple of minutes ago, so those documents are implemented by our team members. Same thing for the Azure AD monitoring. So our team actually spent good amount of time. So they actually go beyond. So though I just gave here, so a couple of them actually created some dashboards using Power BI. So you will be given a task. You just need to, research and see if you can implement. Otherwise, we will work together to complete these things. So the infra setup is one of the biggest thing that our team actually spent some time, and they were able to complete this in a given time. Same thing for the infra monitoring and patching solution with the different use cases, Azure automation with the different use cases, right? So something more on Azure migration as well. So which we are doing it. We just created one document. So what are the different stages we have, and each stage, what does it stage means? What are the examples? What are the known issues if in each and every stage? Likewise, we started this one, and so far, luckily, it's going very well so far, right? So we have the PowerShell scripts, get the inventory backups, Azure AZ commands, storage commands. So we just started, and eventually this is going to be one-stop solution for anybody who wanted to understand more about this. All right. So that's all, guys. I mean, I just want to give you some overview of what we are doing in the our Enterprise Cloud Expert training program and how it is going so far. And I'm going to start a new batch very soon. In case if you guys wanted to join us, so you can just send an email to me. So our email ID is support@vhitsolutions.com. Okay, so you can ping me and I will be able to guide you further with the next steps and how to enroll for this one. Okay, and I will also share my WhatsApp number. You can just ping me in WhatsApp if you are interested to join. So most probably I might be starting these sessions on Monday, which is 18th September. So the timings would be 6:30 a.m. IST to mostly it will be 7:30 a.m. IST. So that's the timing I'm planning. So in case if you are interested, you just ping me. So we'll take it further. So though you don't join the sessions, if you have any questions or any concerns, if you wanted to understand a specific topic, you can always ping me. I'm happy to guide you guys. All right. So thank you so much for your time and thank you for watching this video. I hope this session was helpful. Thank you. Bye.